Hey guys, hopefully you guys are doing fantastic. Can everybody hear me okay? Is the audio good? Let me know here in the live chat. I am hearing myself well, pop up on stream, but I cannot see the OBS settings that Jack has. So I cannot verify or deny unless you guys let me know. Hopefully you guys are doing fantastic today. Sorry we didn't do the show yesterday. I'm still feeling under the weather. So I'll let you guys know I want to rest and relax, but I got to sit here and take care of my markets. So let me know how you guys are doing in the live chat. Alex, how are you feeling this morning? What do you feel about the market? It does feel like Bitcoin is about to break to the upside here, huh?
Yeah, Bitcoin looks to be breaking to the upside, and it looks as if it is pulling money out of the alt market right now. Bitcoin dominance is rising, and alt Bitcoin pairings are they're falling. So yeah, let's take a look at Bitcoin first.
Let's do that. Let's see here in the chat. I do want to give a shout out to Saincy. We've got Martha Jimenez. We've got David Rice, Longbeard, Ollie J, McCall, Yorick, Only the Best. Who else do we have in here? Subtextually, RN3037. Good to see you. Mr. Jake the Snake himself. I've only seen you 17 times before in the chat. Midwest Attempts as always. Damian Hughes and Azriel asking if I have COVID. Well, it is certainly a possibility. I'm not going to lie. I had a deep chest cough. So has my daughter. So have my parents. So it is a possibility. I am going to go up at 3 p.m. today to the lung clinic, which is the only place I can go around here to get a COVID test. It's about 45 minutes away. So I'll let you guys know tomorrow. But for now, what I can say is that it's not stopping me from trading. However, it does make me feel not very well. So it's been a rough night, rough morning, but we've got some Bitcoin to trade. So I'll let you guys know tomorrow. Alex, would that be bullish or bearish?
Justin getting coronavirus?
Yeah.
That's bearish.
It's bearish. Okay. Okay.
Bad omen. Bad omen. But yeah, thanks for shouting out everybody in the live chat. I think that catches us up to everyone in the live chat, which means we can take it away with today's analysis. Who's gonna start off first? Whose screen are we sharing first, guys?
Go ahead. You can. I just wanted to share some with them, so you can pop it over to me, and then Alex, if you have some fundamentals or something you want to look at, we can absolutely do that. But I just wanted to let you know, and especially the premium members, because I'm actually inputting the signal right now. I was just telling Alex before the show that we needed a quicker way, like a quick set button. So if we take some position that may or may not be different from how we normally do, it's easy for you guys to follow along with that. So I am long 10,000 contracts on the same account that I've been trading. If my screen is properly selected here, you see here, just make sure.
Yep, we've got Justin on the screen.
Yeah, I just need make sure it's the ByBit chart here. Make sure you see my ByBit. Do you see my ByBit here, or do you see TradingView?
I see your ByBit. Well,
oh, now there's ByBit.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So here's that account, 10,000 contracts, the same account that we've been trading with the last few days. So this is going to be a breakout trade, and we'll go through this here in just a second. Let's first talk about, I do have to change my screen now, unless I can access TradingView in this window. Yeah, that's easier. Sorry to fill the banter while posting the signal for the premium members. All right, so we'll go over this in more detail here in just a second. Just get this posted.
So you're posting that BTC log signal to the members right now?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Which is why I wanted to get on screen as quickly as possible to show that.
Right on.
Because unfortunately, just the trade submission system that we have just takes a few seconds. All right, that's good to go. So we do see my trading view now, so I wanted to go ahead and go into just current price action, because this trade is only predicated upon current price action. As Alex pointed out, or as anyone can see, Bitcoin has pushed off the lows. We were able to secure that short. We closed that position out live on stream 2 days ago, and we secured, let's see, let me just double check the journal here. About 1.29% at the end of it. So we got a good take profit on the first 50% of the position down, catching a good area of the bottom that Bitcoin corrected to. But then it's pushed up off of that. So the trade didn't turn into a massive reversal short like would have been amazing, catching the beginning of the trend. Yeah, and you never know when that's going to happen. You just know that this is a good technical setup. This is agreeable. I have tested the strategy, or I am comfortable trading the strategy because it makes money on average over time. And you're going to have winners and losers, and you never know when those big winners turn into big winners. That's why every trader will tell you to let your winners ride. You know, step on the gas sometimes, because those only happen once in a while. Bitcoin is one of those assets where it goes on these, amazing tears. So you do have to take the right a risk to reward setup on that. So for example, you guys know that I usually don't speak favorably about breakouts because they have a high failure rate. But there are certain assets that are worth taking the risk on. Certainly Bitcoin is, because it does put in a huge movement generally when we break above resistance here. So let's see here. Bitcoin pushing for that right now as we make a new high above our previous high. As you guys can see, here's the ByBit chart. Let's go ahead and mark out that high that we made, but it's actually probably better to go ahead and do that right on the exchange, just in case, TradingView decides that they want to do something. Just got to be careful. Let's see here. What was the high here? So we have 15,990 was the high that we made back on the 6th. And today, Bitcoin decided to push above that. So we have today high of 16,026. So on the derivatives, on futures, we have reached 16,000. So Bitcoin is traded at 16,000. I don't know if you have any confetti animated emojis over there, Jack, for the stream, but this would certainly be a time for that.
Saving it for 20K.
Oh, we should do it every $1,000. Like, Bitcoin did another 1,000. You guys realize that the last time it felt like this was 2017. One sec. Subtextually, that's a good question about why the CC official signal only has one take profit. So if for the premium members watching here, and I will type this up when I kick the screen over to Alex so I can let you guys know, but most of you are watching. So again, this trade is predicated on a breakout, and this is probably a longer than necessary explanation of a breakout trade. But because it's a breakout trade, it's either going to zoom, which is exactly what I want it to, or over the next hour, it's going to droop or close negative. And if it does, I'm going to close the trade out because that invalidates the trade. We're looking for an instantaneous breakout with momentous follow through. That's a position that's worth the risk to catch for a loss. And that's what we're going to do. And because the loss needs to be relatively small, I don't want to hold a losing position. I'd rather be in a short if the market actually does correct here. So within an hour or two, I feel I'll know pretty well. If we're moving up still in an hour or two, I'll hold the position open. If we're moving down, I'll close it.
Yeah, there's no reason to use Quadriga on a breakout trade because a breakout trade is not like, a PTP 1ATR style trade necessarily.
Sure. Yeah.
Just don't know what price is going to do after it breaks out. You've got like a set place where you can put the stop, but then as far as targets go, it's like, well, the asset's kind of going to do what's going to do.
Yeah, so actually specifically with this trade, I just wanted to get the signal in there as quickly as possible to the premium members. So I was looking at this very chart right here, now over on my trading view, and then switched over here to the ByBit chart because I knew I was going to go ahead and do for the BTC in this account, there's about 2,000 now. There's about 1,000 in USDT. So I knew that I wanted to go about 5x on this trade, so that's 10,000 contracts, equivalent to $10,000. So that puts the 2,000 at a 5x leverage. And that gives me a very safe liquidation level and also makes the trade profitable if it's a winner and reduces the loss if it's a loss, or keeps the loss in an acceptable range. So I just wanted to get the signal out as quickly as possible. So I knew when I was typing that trade in that with my entry price, a $16,500 take profit would be roughly good, would be pretty good. And I'm going to edit it and modify it later as we go over the charts here on the stream. But it's only because, I guess the only reason it's not a Quadriga target is because on this chart, I didn't just hit the Q here, because then I could have just grabbed that number, which it's pretty close. We get there, 16,353 at 3 ATR on the hourly. Yeah, roughly close there. But then they would have got it 5 seconds later, so 16,500 it is, but we will modify that. I don't like those round numbers either. And 15,000 for a stop loss, but really, honestly, it's certainly more equivalent to 15,874.
Yeah.
I do not want to trade lower than the low of this candle. Although what can happen here, and often does, let's even go down lower than the hourly. Let's go to the 5 minutes so you can really mark this out. Imagine if, again, this almost looks like Bitcoin's daily chart, almost, not quite. This is like 2017, and if this is 2017 on the daily time frame, we're kind of like right here, I feel. Yeah. But
so slightly parabolic movement.
Right, right. And of course, this is a 5-minute chart. This is just what's happened lately. But if you consider price in the same way, you know what happened following 2017. It's a great example of an asset that's charging up and charging up and charging up and going parabolic. Well, nothing can go on forever. Eventually, you will stop and reverse. And the farther you go, the farther you have to fall. Thus, Bitcoin 19,000 to 3K 2018. All right, so what often will happen with a breakout, whether it's a failed breakout or not, is, let's go ahead and take Quidrigo off there. We can see price grab liquidity, obviously, by forming a new low, and then sell off. And then what I would look for, or what I would consider bullish, as I've said several times, this line is actually too long, but a correction that remains above 50% of the previous range from high to low. So here's the previous high to low. Let's say this is 50%, or you can use the Fibonacci tool here. Retracement. So, boom and boom. And we only want 50%. That's right here, 15,787. All right. They were, I was a little bit more generous. So right there. So if we remain above that line and then go to test resistance again, that would be a potential breakout. That would be bullish because we're making a higher low and we're going for resistance again. So, hey, maybe we'll break out again because that's what happened here. We made a higher low and went for resistance and broke it. So that's, if you guys want to sit here, and breakout traders do this, they will follow an asset that's moving on high volatility until they actually get that movement that they're looking for, which is when price breaks this resistance, it continues to break up very fast, very quick. And that's a huge breakout trade. Breakout traders are looking for an outsized return for little risk. Because as I said, the risk is that it does not break out, that it corrects from here, and only two things follow from that. Another attempt at breaking resistance, where you can attempt another breakout trade, or a reversal in trend. Like that was the actual top of the market for a significant period of time that it would be profitable to short this asset. So regardless of which one comes, that is the way to play these breakout trades. And why, as I said, if it's an hour or two or any certain time frame, so mine is 2 hours hard out, 2 hours hard out. If the asset is moving down or closing lower than it did when I opened the trade, if I'm in drawdown, close the position. And if I'm not in drawdown, if price is marching up, well, you can tell the difference very clearly between those two. Is price hanging out near the entry, up a little bit, down a little bit, close the trade out, or are we soaring into profits? Okay. All right, Alex, I'll go ahead and kick it over to you for a second while I go ahead and type up basically everything that I just said in a summarized form for the premium members and the market analysis. And we'll see what you have to say about the markets as well. And let me know, what do you think is more likely here? I mean, it doesn't matter what's more likely, but is that how you would play this particular breakout? Or, what would you be doing different, or what would you be doing the same? I'm pretty sure that we're both long on BTC USD. I believe we did put on the positions together just a moment ago before the show.
Yeah. I did put on a small Bitcoin position with Justin right before the show started. I think my entry is here I can find out. My entry is all the way down 15,894. So yeah, so just right above this area right here. I honestly kind of hate breakout trades, as when I'm doing discretionary trades. If I've been looking for one particular spot to break out and then it does break out, on volume and stuff, then maybe I'll take it. But if I'm just looking through charts and I see, oh, that looks like there's a breakout trade on the table, normally I think, okay, it's too late for me to take this trade. Normally breakouts are to be faded. Usually price trades sideways. On any given day, price is probably going to trade sideways. It probably won't end up moving up too much. It probably won't end up moving down too much. Any given breakout or breakdown will probably not end up breaking out or breaking down. I mean, look, didn't break out, didn't break down, didn't break out, didn't break down, didn't break down, and then maybe we break out here. So I find it's better to fade them. And that is, of course, why I tend to look for reversal trades when I'm doing discretionary trades. That being said, there's something to be said for spotting the fact that an asset is trending and then being like, okay, well, it looks like it's going to keep trending, so let me just get in there. And I mean, getting in here versus getting in here, if we end up at like 20K, either way, you're going to end up being happy. The question is, you don't want to end up getting long here or here. So you got to be careful when you're taking breakout trades. That's one of the reasons why it can help to use patterns when you're doing breakout trades. Look for areas of resistance. Look for potential signs of which way price is going to break. It's like, oh, hey, well, this is an ascending triangle formation, and we break above this. Well, generally speaking, that's going to continue going. There's like a roughly 63-65% chance of that continuing to go. And for those of you who may be relatively new to trading and don't know much about pattern trading, a really good place to look this up is on Bulkowski's pattern site. So Bulkowski literally wrote the book on trading chart patterns. He wrote the Encyclopedia of Chart Patterns, something you can pick up on Amazon if it's something that interests you. I don't trade patterns much, although I use them as confluence when my oscillator is pointing up and there's a pattern that's saying up and it's above the baseline and stuff. It's like, well, gee, how many more pieces of evidence do I need here before I take a position? So yeah, the website looks like it was created in 1998 on GeoCities, and maybe it was, I don't know. But nothing to sneeze at. This is probably the best source of information that you'll ever need for trading patterns. So let's just ascending triangle. There we go. You can see ascending triangle chart patterns break out upwards 63% of the time, and 64% of the time of the way, and 64% of the way to the triangle apex. So if the triangle apex would be like, here, the point of the triangle, it's here. They have a tendency to break out 64% of the way, 63% of the time. So, I mean, hey, 63% isn't fantastic, but it's better than 50-50, which is roughly, what the market's going to do on any given day, up or down. So, if anybody is,
you can make a lot of money with a 55% strategy. Some people make it with a 50-50, but yeah, you're right, Alex. 63% is good. Hey, Jack, could you respond to your DMs, please?
Yeah.
Sure. 1 second.
Nothing to sneeze at. So let's move on from Bitcoin. I've kind of said all I have to say on that for now. It looks like it's going to break up, and if we break, probably I will exit if we break back below the 4-hour candle here, because the 4-hour close is strong, and we could still get like a wick into this area and then a recovery if if we sell into this resistance, maybe now support hard. So that's the only way I would do it differently. Ethereum looking strong in this spot. We've broken and held above resistance here. So let's take a look at where this is. And in relation to historic data. Man, we're tapping on the previous swing high right now. So did I lose you guys? Can you hear me?
You're still with us. What's up?
Okay. So yeah, so we're tapping on the high right now. I would not go long in this spot. I am long from actually. No, I'm sorry. I wish my entry was down here. I'm long from 450 or so. So I nailed it yesterday, and I'm up here, and we're up here now. But from here, I would wait until we get a close above roughly. You're going to want to close above 480 on the daily. If we close above 480 on the daily, we're likely to see continuation through this area of resistance that we've been facing for the last 3 months. Let's take a look on the weekly and get a glimpse of what that might look like. I mean, it looks strong. We've got the last weekly close broke the previous weekly swing high. That being said, it's not unheard of for price to test a previous high before a breakdown. So if you're trading the weekly chart, then you are probably already in. Otherwise, I would not enter in that spot right there. If we break here, this will be the yeah, I'm definitely looking around 750 as a target. Would be very nice. Okay. So earlier I mentioned that Bitcoin dominance had once again started rising. As you can see, you guys know, alts have been looking kind of interesting for the past week, and that is because for the last week, Bitcoin dominance took a break. It's just been nonstop. Money's been pouring out of alts and into Bitcoin here in crypto. It's kind of taking a break, but for now, it does. It looks like it's going to continue here. I'm not going to lie. This looks like it's kind of eager to continue onwards. So I would be very cautious about entering alts really strongly in this spot, especially because it looks like Bitcoin's still kind of pumping, guys. You know, alts could get technically oversold. Money will flow back into it for a little bit, and that'll give larger institutional players and whales who might have entered a little higher, you know, buying what they had thought was the bottom, a chance to exit their positions by selling to retail traders who are buying resistance. So let me show you an example of what I mean. So link in this spot, link Bitcoin. So this green area, and let's look at this on the weekly so you can get a better sense of why this area is what it is. So this area is resistance, down, support, and then it could be more support here, or what we could end up happening is we break down from support, now resistance, and continue onwards for another leg of another leg of downtrend on link here. So I would advise caution. Just because we've had a few up days on alts does not mean it's time to rush in. Oh, let's totally buy the bottoms on these alts. It's not necessarily the bottoms, guys. There's still a long way to go on some of these, perhaps. That being said, there are alts that are looking interesting. Yesterday was definitely the day to buy DeFi in the morning. If you were able to do that, then by the evening you were a much wealthier person. So some of yesterday's YFI. Oh, what's happening with YFI? Support. Oh, this is resistance, guys. Uniswap token here, looking pretty overextended on the daily. If there's one place that I would consider resistance, it would probably be this $3 range up here. Let's see what else. Oof, Meta looks kind of awesome here. What else could be facing resistance? Support, resistance here for swipe. Not much to say here for NMR. He looks awfully overextended here on the daily, but I wouldn't necessarily call this resistance. It's just, looks kind of weak. There's resistance line right here. Could be we're facing resistance in this spot. I wouldn't necessarily stake a position one way or the other on it. I don't know. This looks kind of nice in this spot right here.
Pardon me, Alex. I just wanted to remind the premium members, or just alert them actually, to the fact that I did a write-up of the explanation of what I just said on stream regarding the BTC USD position. That's trade number.
Yeah.
Let's see, CC 20 November 220 in the trade journal. So you guys can see that in Members Lounge. Go ahead, Alex. Good analysis.
Of course. And here on Ren Bitcoin, I suggest to you that we've got a break of the upward trend. This was previously resistance, support here, break of support, and now it looks as if we've sold into this spot, or we've been bought up into this spot as support, now again resistance, and we'll probably continue this downtrend on Ren Bitcoin. I would imagine. Let's open up the monthly here, and I think we'll see that.
Hey, Alex, do you mind if following this chart, I could kick it over to me for a second? I got some interesting things here I want to talk about with Bitcoin.
Boom, kick it over.
Let's do it. I'm going to move the stream over to Justin very briefly. Let's transition over to Justin's stream. Here we go. Justin, you are on screen. You still with us, Justin?
Oh, I apologize. My microphone was off. All right, you guys should be seeing my ByBit chart. Is that correct?
Yep, you're there.
Yeah.
All right, great. So what I really like about the analysis and the trades that are put on with regards to what Alex just went over and with regards to what I covered with my original analysis. So if you guys watch from about 10 to 15 minutes in, if you guys are just catching the show, you'll see my explanation of a breakout strategy trading in the direction of the breakout. And then if you watch about 20 to 25, you'll see Alex talking about fading a breakout, which is an alternative strategy to the same kind of opportunity, right? Certain opportunities occur in the marketplace, usually when price is at one of two places, at its average price or near its baseline, for example, or when it's far away from its average price or overextended from its baseline. And you can think of this in one of two ways: opportunities when price is overextended upwards, and opportunities where price is overextended downwards. And there's really two ways to trade any particular opportunity. You can trade in the direction that price is moving, or you can attempt to trade it reversely. You can take an opposite position from which price is heading. So the strategy and trade that I put on, and again, Alex, correct me where I'm wrong, but you are long on Bitcoin, right? You actually put on a long breakout trade instead of a reversal. Okay.
Yeah, 894.
894. Let's see. 922. So you did certainly beat me. You were in before me.
I think I put a lower limit entry bid.
I'm not sure if price reached that low. I mean, oh, you just put on the trade after, like at the same time as me?
I'm on FTX. You're on ByBit.
So that, yeah. So
I think that's the difference.
I guess ByBit is hitting me a little bit more than FTX today, perhaps. Not ready to make the switch yet. Well, I trade on FTX as well, but I certainly do not have the funds that I have over there. So that's what I really liked. I liked the explanation of both types of trades, and I liked the display of both types of trades. Because, Alex, everything you said was right. This breakout strategy, for example, is going to have a lower hit rate than fading a breakout. That's why fading a breakout became a very popular strategy. That's the core of Tom DeMark's sequential strategy, and almost all of Tom DeMark's sequential strategies. They're fading breakout trades. Some of the greatest traders have been breakout faders. However, the only thing that I want to explain here is that it's not as if one strategy is better than the other. Of course, they will be at different times on different assets. It just depends.
Exactly. For instance, I think there's the famous trend following strategy, the turtle strategy, which is essentially, I don't want to go too far into it, but essentially this turtle strategy is every time price makes a new, I think it's like a 25-day high, you enter with one position size, and then when price makes a new high, either like, a certain number of days later, within a certain number of days, you pyramid in, you enter like, another position size, and then as price continues moving up, you keep a stop behind you about 3.5 ATR, and then you just, every time price moves up, you enter another position, and this strategy loses about 80% of the time. It's got a 20% success rate, but the 20% that you hit on, people, you'll make like 100% profit on their account, and boom, there's your trade for the year. The rest of the time you just sit on your hands and get stopped out, which is honestly, it seems kind of psychologically rough, but it's a successful strategy. It requires just a lot of emotional discipline.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Good points on both, and good explanation of that, because obviously trading any strategy requires psychological discipline, but I think a breakout strategy probably does require a little bit more, because you do have that low hit rate, and you have to put that in context with what you're aiming for, though. Breakout trade, you really are looking for that outsized reward, that real explosion of price and momentum, and those are relatively rare. We can see a lot of that going on with Bitcoin today. Look at the volatility of these bursts to the upside, and they all pretty much occur in the same way. We have a break of resistance, and price either hangs out sideways for a little bit, tries to correct, but eventually, when we make a higher high and break above resistance, we get a big movement. We see that there. We see that pretty much any time. Well, of course, because for price to make a new high, it has to go above its previous high. And those breakout trades can often move with big momentum, predicting the volatility or the length, or how high that movement will go or how low that movement will go. That's the core of a lot of work that people do to attempt to improve their strategies. Probably the most popular tool is going to be Fibonacci retracements or Fibonacci trend extensions, or some other form of using the distance that price is made from low to high to utilize the next. The preferred way I like to do this is by measuring volatility. The higher volatility gets, or the higher the ATR gets. And when you start getting quite volatile and you're looking for setups and opportunities like these, you can even go down to the lower time frames. Because, for example, you guys will notice, or at least I certainly notice, that if I look at a metric like funding on the daily time frame, I don't get a lot of information out of that. We've used the BitMEX premium and funding indicator to catch some good patterns and look for fading opportunities, essentially, or breakout opportunities in Bitcoin.
I was just saying to a member yesterday, I was explaining how funding worked, and I was saying, funding's honestly much more powerful as a scalping tool, because people tend to get offsides a lot during the day, over like a 15-20 minute time span. Like, they just get like overly emotional, and it's really rare that funding gets so out of whack that it becomes an issue on the daily time frame. And then those time frames, funding is often so far out, then it does become obvious that, okay, this is a daily trade to take.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Like the funding on March 23rd, for instance, or 13th.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So funding is really helpful on the lower time frames, as we've showed and as you just explained, to really see that opportunity for, oh, wow, the market is now doing something different. This is an opportunity that's presenting itself. Now, depending on the type of trader you are, or what works for you, or just what you're comfortable or educated in, what you've spent the time to be good at, depends on the strategy that you would like to execute in an opportunity scenario, right? It's a good way to think about trading. There are opportunities that occur, as I said earlier, and when you get an opportunity, depending on the work that you've put in to train for a trade, you'll execute a strategy and have a win or loss based on how the trade plays out, because you never know before you enter a position. So I wanted to talk about, that funding. If we look here on the 5-minute time frame, we can see opportunities. And keep in mind, for my funding and premium index here on the 5-minute chart, I have the experimental settings for lower time frames option enabled. I have all the options enabled. My horizontal spreader is at 0.03, horizontal line style is on 2, and all that is visual. So, all right, so we can see funding. Let's see here, zoom out, look for a good opportunity. Here we go. See here, when funding is quite low, price does not stop moving up. That is often the thing that we see. So right here, we saw funding quite low when price was sold off. And that is an opportunity where lots of people might think, okay, well, it looks like price is breaking down. I'm going to take a trade in the direction of that strategy. But the reversal traders got it here because price did reverse and shoot up to the upside quite high. If you're day trading and so you're putting on quite large position sizes, it's not that if you have a tight stop, it's not effective at reducing your losses. It's that sometimes price can move so volatilely on its rejection or breakout, depending on which way you're trading, that you get slipped quite a bit. And on Bitcoin derivatives platforms, that slippage can be, on the cases where it occurs, painful. I certainly know several premium members and myself who know how that can happen. So that's why the funding indicator is helpful to let you know, on average, it's just a statistical edge to let you know which direction to trade. So here, the strategy that Alex explained earlier in regards to Bitcoin, fading a breakout, of course, because if we just hit Control I or Alt I, well, that's not what we want. If we invert this chart, that's not just me. I just clicked it and it
Alt-I
didn't want to do it, right?
It's Alt-I.
Yeah,
It's
but it didn't
Alt-I.
work. It didn't work.
I thought I saw it do it for a second.
Nope. So, okay, anyways, if we invert this chart, we could consider, instead of price making a low there, price would be making a high. Where's that example right here that we were talking about? Right here. Right here, where we get... I just had it there. Come on, guys. Okay. Well, you guys saw it, so did I. It was an area where funding was quite negative. I think I'm just being silly, and when I zoom in on it, it doesn't appear like it. Here it is, this area right here where funding is quite low, and then price moves to the upside. So that was an area where Alex's strategy, or the strategy that Alex explained, fading a breakout, would have been the right way to trade, right? Consider taking a breakout trade in the direction of the trend, taking the short there, looking for price to break down. And Alex would be fading that by seeing price overextended to the downside below our average price and saying, no, I'm going to slingshot and take price back to its average price. And even in that case, and then farther beyond that for a breakout trade in the direction of the trend that it's moving at that point in time, which would be up. So it's just an interesting indicator. So, all right, I wanted to explain metrics for current price action today. So BTC USD, we're on perpetuals because it did invert price. Well, that's why. So I think that explains that when I was looking at the inverted chart. Alex, go ahead and pour another pot of coffee for the team here. All right, so let me show you guys what I just talked about in the members lounge. I'll go ahead and get back to Alex. We'll try to find some altcoins to short here. The 55 exponential moving average baseline on the 5-minute time frame is very good for a reference point for a stop loss for this breakout trade. So if we are below the 55 5-minute exponential moving average baseline on the 5-minute chart in 1 hour now, 1 hour and 15 minutes, 2 hours from when the position was put on. If we are below that, I would exit this trade. Or if at any time we close below that, I would exit this trade. So this would be my early exit signal as I talk about for strategy creation. If we're above that, I would hold the position open to the upside if you are attempting the breakout trade. And once we close below that, you exit the trade. Now that reduces your loss. Now, of course, if you want to be more conservative in 1 hour and 15 minutes or 2 hours, you can instead close the trade out if we are not above, well, if we're just not in profit. If we're not in any profit on the trade, price is above or at its entry price, your entry price, you could close the position out as well. That would be more conservative, and then you could just wait until price attempts a breakout again. The way to catch that is by looking for an increase in volume and volatility. And if you're watching the chart, just in general, to see it start moving toward its previous high, as opposed to just kind of wandering around above or below it, or excuse me, below it. So that's certainly one way to take the trade. And then as far as a take profit, I recommend you guys, if you're looking for just the swing target here on the 5-minute, I would go to the hourly. I would turn on Quadriga, and that's exactly what we're going to do here, and I'll update the sheet. And either take, depending on your risk tolerance, the second or the third one. I really like to go with the second here. So you're going up to the next layer time frame. So it doesn't matter if you're on the 1 hour chart looking for the same type of trade, what target would you want to go to for an intraday trade? You would go to the daily, and you would want to set a target for the second or third Quadriga level. That's 2 to 3 ATR. It's a very good, easy take profit system for intraday and even meso time frame setups and trade opportunities. You go to the time frame one metric above and go to the 1. So it doesn't matter if you're on 2 hour, 6 hour, 9 hour, 12 hour, you go to the 1 day. Doesn't matter if it's 5 minute, 10 minute, 45 minute, 59 minute, you go to the 1 hour. Very good way to do it. Although if you're on the 59 minute, going to the 1 hour seems like that would be not a big change. So what do we see right here with Bitcoin's price? Not looking like the breakout yet. We see that price over the last 20 minutes has come back down below its high. So we are not currently trading and making new highs. So we'll see what happens. As I said, you don't know which way, if a trade is going to win or not based on the strategy. It's very much like anything that requires a little bit of chance, like getting a hit at the blackjack table. But if your strategy is good and your discipline is correct, and most importantly, if your risk management is very consistent and good, then you will on average make money rather than lose money. And that is how this game is won and lost. All right, Alex, you can go ahead and take back control, sir. One last thing. For the guys who are following along, our premium members who are taking trades, the AVAX and STX trades are closed out on the journals. Now, I went ahead and exited my STX when I closed the position out on the journal, but I still actually have my AVAX and my band, which is a trade I took on the air, but did not put onto the sheet or call as a CC official signal. So later on this afternoon, when I'm going to take a small nap and rest, when I wake up, I'm going to go ahead and post the analysis and updates for those trades in the actual non-premium regular general analysis channel for the entire community. But the premium members will get them first, and then about an hour later, I'll post them in the general for everybody. So if you do have those positions still, I'll explain how I am going to manage mine. So Jack, you can switch over to Alex. Thank you guys so much. Trade safely out there.
All right. Alex, I've got your screen on the board right now, and I'm going to quickly take a look at the live chat while you set up and see if there's anything here we wanted to hit. Now, I did notice earlier you guys were talking about taking this long intraday, and I think you kind of answered Subtextually's question, but they were asking about how do you do your stop loss, or sorry, with the breakout trades, aren't you using Quadriga? How do you determine if the proper size of your position? So did you guys kind of touched on the proper size of positioning and not using Quadriga? Was that question kind of answered, you feel?
Yeah, absolutely. So in the members lounge, I certainly posted this in quite good detail. And then on stream, and I apologize if I wasn't clear, but for this trade, that's why I wanted to grab the camera at the very beginning of the show. The position size that I took for this trade was 5x. And that's actually 5x the account size that I have on ByBit here, depending on what you want to do. And certainly, I think a safer way, and what I would absolutely recommend if you have been trading for less than 2 years profitably, is to create an isolated margin account on your leveraged exchange and make a deposit. If you want to trade with the position sizing of, like for example, you have $2,000 or $1,000 on ByBit or Binance or FTX or wherever you're trading margin or have access to margin, and you want to trade at 3x leverage. That means if you have $1,000 on deposit, your position size is going to be $3,000 per trade. That puts your account at 3x leverage risk for liquidation and for actual loss. Because remember, when you leverage up your trade, all you're doing is increasing or decreasing, you're magnifying or decreasing the P&L, the profit and loss. So if you normally put on a $100 trade and make 6%, you get $6. But if you leverage that $100 up 10x to $1,000, then your loss would be 10 times that. But so would your gain. That's the benefit and risk of margin trading. So my account is at 5x. That's $2,000. That's 10,000 contracts, as I showed. And then I showed how you can get a position size there, a stop and target, by grabbing Quadriga on the time frame 1 metric above. So here on the 5 minute, we went to the hourly. And for the stop loss, you can either use just the previous low of the hourly, or you can go ahead and use Quadriga on the hourly. Either way, just make sure to set a tight stop if you're doing it that way, but it's certainly much faster for day trading to use a consistent position size, usually based on your leverage. So 3x, it's going to be 3 times that every time. 5x, 5 times that, so on and so forth.
Any thoughts, Alex, before we give it away to you?
Not particularly.
All right. Okay, I just kind of scrolled through the chat. I see a little bit of discussion here. I see people talking PS5s and Xboxes. I guess what console to get this holiday season. I see people talking.
PS5 comes out today.
All right, so PS5. I see people talking about Cyberpunk and Devil May Cry for some reason. Shout outs, I guess, to the gamers and the console gamers in the live chat. Peckham.
Sounds so sincere.
Peckham 08 says, slightly off topic, but still within boundaries. Why has nobody offered to buy my Xbox Series X for crypto, as tweeted earlier? Unbelievable. Usually the kiddies who are going to be buying your Xbox on Craigslist don't even know what crypto is. So, unfortunately, crypto is more.
BitConnect, I'm willing to trade you, man. Come holler.
Yeah, he's got BitConnect for your Series X. So you box that up in the USPS envelope, and we'll get the BitConnect tokens dispatched to you.
Do you actually have any BitConnect tokens, Alex?
I do not actually have any BitConnect tokens.
Because you guys do have to realize that people certainly still have, or theoretically have, BitConnect tokens, right?
I think they still have them. They're still traded, I think, on some markets.
Right.
I have a pet theory that one day there will be crypto numismatists, people who collect old, defunct crypto tokens.
Absolutely. That's why when we buy silver, for example, I love it when we get cool designs. Remember how excited I was to buy those Athena Owl silver coins?
It's like, oh, dude, you've got BitConnect. Come on, break me off some of that BitConnect. It's like divisible out to 18 digits. Come on, break me off a piece of that BitConnect.
Absolutely.
Come on, man.
Yeah, it's like finding, if you and I found an old Roman spear or something very cool from old times, that would be very cool to have, even if we had to cut it in half. So for those listening, if you think that cryptocurrency trading or investing particularly, is only about what is going up right now or what is going to go up in 5 years, remember what I'm doing or why I'm investing, for example. I am really not investing for myself. I am investing for my children because they are the ones who are really going to have to manage all these assets that I consider highly valuable, not just for my lifetime, for my children's lifetime and very far into the future. Bitcoin, gold, silver, technology, anything of high value that will improve human life. And if I invest wisely, those investments will do well with my children and their children. So thinking far out about what's valuable, and Alex correctly pointed out numismatics. So something that is worth less than a tenth of a penny today in altcoins, even these DeFi NFT arts, certainly something like digital art or copyrights will be the way of the future. So maybe the NFT that's available today for $5 could be amazingly valuable to your grandchildren. Think about it.
Yeah, those Ethereum bobbleheads that they were. I think the bobbleheads were some of the very first NFTs, weren't they?
I mean, I know that I have. What is that? In the movie Austin Powers, the whatever ship or a restaurant chain mascot that Dr. Evil was flying around in.
Oh, what, like the guy, the boy who's like got the plate of hamburgers?
Yeah,
That
the big boy or whatever, right? There's a restaurant chain, either it's that one or similar in real life. Trying to think of exactly what it is. But my grandfather has one of their physical in real life kind of clocks or collectibles that looks like that. The big boy, yes, I'm looking at it right now. The big boy coin bank, and that thing is worth like $4,000. And he bought it in 60, probably 69 for $20 or 5 cents probably back then. So
like everything was 5 cents.
Yeah. Well, gas was certainly 5 cents.
Damian Hughes says Beanie Babies were the NFT of his generation.
My generation, certainly, yeah. And Tamagotchis and Pokemon. All right, hey guys. I guess I got to mention here. I am getting pretty bushed as we go, and my trades are on, so I'll be posting that. Premium members, we are going to be doing the community mentoring at 2 p.m., so I want to go ahead and go get rested quick before that. It is almost 1 o'clock. I'll go ahead and leave the stream to you guys, but I did want to mention we have the ByBit material giveaway to do. I have the shirt, the glasses, the I guess, Necronomicon cube thing and the messenger bag. So Alex and Jack, if you guys want to pick the winners while we're on stream, I can get those sent out in USPS.
Wait, how do we pick a winner? What am I
Well,
doing?
it
Grab
was
some.
the individuals who sent the or submitted the best trade setup over the weekend. So
Okay, where were the
No one
submissions
submitted a trade
made?
setup to me.
there were a bunch of chats and technical analysis as well as premium analysis, as I can see. And if there aren't any, then I guess what we can do is select the winners from today's show, or we could definitely, who do we think needs some love here at Cracking Cryptocurrency?
I mean,
Again,
we
this
might
is
have
only
to.
in the event that we can't find the actual winners of the original
Exactly.
agreement, right?
Yeah. We'll have to look through that TA channel then and try to determine the winner. And if those people want to be awarded one of these sweet ByBit prizes, they'll have to DM us their address, and Justin will get that shipped out to you. But maybe we'll save that for tomorrow, at least to announce, because like I said, we got to review those submissions because I wasn't
Yep.
aware that they were in there.
Absolutely. If we can find, in the event that we don't find the people or that nobody actually submitted setups, but several people asked me, so I'm pretty sure that you could have thrown a Hail Mary, posted anywhere. And if you didn't, you can go ahead and I'll open it up today for submission. So if anybody wants to post their best BTC USD trade setup for either the weekend or right now in our technical analysis channel in our Discord server, link is in the description. You guys can submit a photo of your chart. And again, not a chart. It'd have to be your actual exchange account. You can blur out whatever you like, but I just want to see your entry, date of entry, and I don't have to see your position size actually, just that you actually had the trade on from when you claim to have it. So show me the best, and we're going to be judging from raw ROI. So the distance that price has moved from your entry. Obviously, the time that you take the screenshot matters.
All right, so all right, so
But
we'll have to close the that contest then in that case by the weekend or by Monday.
by today, by the end of the
Today.
show. And in case
Gotcha.
nobody does that or they didn't do it
But
over
if
the
you're
weekend
judging
and
it
we
by
cannot select the
ROI,
winner,
what's the ROI window? Like when are you taking this ROI snapshot?
from when they entered the trade till when they either close the trade or if the trade is open right now.
Gotcha. All right, guys. Well, let's see your little intraday trades, and we'll see who'll be getting
Show
one of
us
these
your
sweet.
little trades.
Show us these trades, and then we'll dispatch one of these sweet ByBit swag prizes over to you. If
Jack,
not,
just in case that's hard to understand,
yeah.
We'll be posting that on Twitter, guys, so you guys can see that on our Twitter account
All right.
and in the chat.
Keep your eyes on Twitter, boys. Justin will outline how to get your hands on one of these ByBit giveaway items. I'm gonna scroll through the chat real quick, and I see people talking about Furbies and other 90s junk collecting dust today.
Okay, well,
Absolutely. All right. So
sharing my screen while I do nothing, so I'm going to briefly talk about markets.
yeah, go ahead, Alex. Take it over. I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye to you guys and get off the stream. Thank you guys for coming. Much love to everybody, and I will see you guys soon to the premium members here in about an hour. Thank you so much.
Cheers. Good luck.
All
Watch
right,
for that
talk to you
Twitter, boys. And all right, over to Alex. Alex, you're on stream. Might as well take it away from here. I'll review the live chat shortly, but let's get into a bit of the rapid fire Alex style analysis. Let's get through a few of the charts on his watch list, guys.
Okay, so let's go over Forex real quick. Dollar continuing to do well. Looks like we're about to get a confirmed reversal signal on the daily time transformation. This will be a nice little bullish divergence that you will see here once it prints at the end of today. We're about 3 hours away from close. Are we 2 hours away from close? Oh wait, apparently we're 5. No. So I guess the Dixie closes at a different time than Forex. Yeah, I guess it is. Okay. But no, it's still at 5 p.m. Forex. So yeah, so the Dixie is looking good for continuation. The other currency indices are not looking so hot. Swissy here has a bearish divergence that I have drawn out here on the chart. Let's take a look at this on the weekly. See how it looks. I'm not sold on this weekly phenomenon. I mean, first of all, we still have a couple of days left in the week, but could be rough here. A lower time frame is giving us some signs of reversal, so be careful. But I would say overall things look bad for the Swissy. Really rough on the end here. This could just be a retest of. This could just be your retest of previous resistance, now support. But I really consider this entire area resistance. I'm after term reversal on the Japanese yen. So let's head back on over to the monthly. If we close this monthly with this big wake up like this, I think we can just stick a fork in it. It'll be done. Okay, so let's check out the Canadian dollar. Another strong day, but looks like we're about to get a reversal signal on time transformation. I think overall, only the dollar looks good at this point, with the exception of the Australian dollar, which is remaining above resistance, and I think is still ripe for continuation. I am still very long the Australian dollar and the New Zealand dollar. I've mentioned before that it's summer down there. They're coming out of COVID lockdown. We are going into COVID lockdown. Things look pretty bleak up here. I think the Australian dollar has a lot of room to continue onwards here. Sorry. Kind of reverted to looking at Ethereum here. Let's take a look at the actual. Oof. So Aussie dollar versus the New Zealand dollar is rough. New Zealand dollar is doing much better right now. This is actually a really strong short trade. We might take this at the end of today. Let me put this on the watch list. Very interesting. I don't know. Looking at the monthly, these have been trading so tightly together for a while. This looks strong, but there's actually only like a 3% difference in between this area right here. I don't know if I really want to take this trade. There's not enough volatility for me to really think it's worth it. Australian, Canadian dollar. Still looking like it might melt upwards. Australian dollar, Japanese yen. Strong. Aussie firing on all cylinders right now. Canadian dollar, mixed signals. I don't see anything super strong here that makes me think, oh yeah, really want to take this. The euro, weak. This is the euro versus the Australian dollar. I'm actually short this. I scored a short around here. I'm not super excited about it. Just because it's kind of right in the middle of this trading range. But so far, it's just it's still marching downwards. So euro, New Zealand dollar also very, very weak here. Ripe for continuation. I would consider taking this. Farther here. Let's pull out the weekly. See what we got. Oh man, this is pretty rough looking. That's more like a monthly trend. Yeah, I would definitely take this at least to 167, maybe even a little further. But it's a solid trade right there. Short. Euro British pound. This looks weak too. I think you just want to be short the euro right now. Period. However you can get short the euro. It looks rough. Euro Australian dollar. Trade near resistance on Euro Canadian dollar. Euro Swissy is the only thing that looks moderately strong here for the euro. Let's look at this on a lower time frame. We make it here of the downtrend. I imagine we'll have to retest this area though. Let's take a look at all these New Zealand dollar pairs. Strong, strong, strong. I mentioned for premium members earlier in the week that we were getting a breakout signal on New Zealand dollar here. I took this right when we broke this. It was a very strong signal, and so far this is doing well. New Zealand dollar Canadian. I believe this is printing a symmetrical triangle breakout right here. Yeah. Get out of my way. Come on, buddy. Let's see. Not sure. I imagine we'll probably take it up to this area right here for resistance. This is a nice, roughly 10% move. New Zealand dollar here. Ooh, making a very interesting looking inverted head and shoulders on the monthly. Not something you ever really see. I would take the signal wholeheartedly. Probably can take it up to here. So this is New Zealand dollar versus Japanese yen. Remember, guys, we're expecting a big reversal on the Japanese yen. We were looking at the currency indice right back here. So this is telling us that we may be able to expect that. Now, it's a lovely looking trade. Looks like we're getting the breakout signal today. So I would definitely consider taking this long, guys, if you're not already long the New Zealand dollar or short the Japanese yen. Let's check out these USD pairs. Strong. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm overly long the US dollar on the Swissy pairing right here. I managed to score my long down here, so feeling very good about that. I'm not I would really like to see a retest down here. So I imagine that as we test what's been very strong resistance, that we'll get some pullback here. But at this point, I fully expect continuation on the U.S. dollar. It's very strong, and the Swissy is very weak. We've got a strong 3-day signal right here, very very bullish signal, and weekly is not there yet. But if we close the week up here, we'll get a reversal signal right here, and a rather strong one at that. USD JPY, reversal signal at the end of this week. USD Chinese Yuan. Well, we're getting a third reversal signal here. I'm not really convinced. So I would wait on that, but it looks pretty good. So yeah, currently the dollar is looking like it's expected to continue for the next couple weeks. Dow trading sideways at resistance. NASDAQ breaking back up to retest resistance. Right now, I would say this looks good for probably continuation, just because the entire market looks like it wants to keep going up. And then SPY doing really well today, coming off of resistance now support. It looks like. I think SPY looks pretty good for continuation, but the volume makes me wonder a little bit. But the declining sell volume that looks good to me. So yeah, I think we can expect a continuation for the broader markets here too. Jack, do we have any questions?
Yeah, let me quickly review the chat here. Guys, if we have requests, if you got a chart or a token pair you want us to put up on the stream, this is the time to post them. I haven't. Maybe I should check audience engagement. Unless Jason, if you're in the stream, man, pop into the Discord. Feed us some requests from the audience engagement tab, please. But I didn't actually see too many requests today, and that's maybe why we don't have too many here. Subtextually says it's better now for him, although it was pretty bad. Yeah, Alex, you're lagging a little bit throughout your analysis, but it wasn't really anything too bad. You had like a couple random spikes, so if you see subtextually's complaining there, just ignore that, man. You sounded fine, but we'll upgrade your internet for 2021. We'll get you the fiber optic, bro. We'll get you the best. We'll get you the.
I live out in a rural area now, man. I got the best stuff.
All right, so we'll get you the Tesla uplink. We'll get Elon to point his satellites directly at your house.
Yeah, give me Starlink, guys.
There we go. Let's see here, guys. I'm not seeing too many requests. Oh, RSR, here we go. They're piling in right now. Let's start with Ocean for Damian Hughes, please. Did we do Ethereum yet? Ask Keela Craig. I think we touched on it earlier, so. But for now, we'll go through one by one. They're pouring in now. Hang tight, guys. I think Jason just connected as well.
Sure.
I think we got a full Alex.
Hello?
Oh, there he is. What's up?
Hey, just want to let you guys know that I have been keeping up with the chat, but everyone seems to be talking about PS5 and Xboxes today without their requests.
Gotcha.
They seem to be coming in now. So.
All right, Alex. Unfortunately, is lagging out right now. Alex, you're full lag out. Your stream is broken and your voice is gone.
Yeah, you can.
You're slowly returning, but we're gonna give you another like 30 seconds for your connection to restabilize again. No, Katashi in the chat, it's not your internet that's lagging. One of our participants is. All right, Alex, I think you're back. Let's check you out.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good. You're back 100%.
I'll look at ChartX. Right now, there's not much more data to say other than like if you didn't already buy, it's too late. So. Second. Yeah, I mean, there's like even less. There's like even less data there. So I would say that you're too late to the party. Even if it broke out, there's not enough data to really say much about it, man. I don't know. Yeah, there's nothing to say. It's up here at resistance. Don't buy it here. If you can, buy it down here. Go back in time.
Yeah, fairly new token's been making waves for the last few weeks. RSR will be the next one coming from Damian Hughes. We'll fly through these guys. Don't worry, we'll get to all of them.
Yeah, so we're at resistance. I would not buy here. Maybe if we break above this level right here and close up here above 2,000. Otherwise, yeah, I would look for probably to reverse back down in this area.
All right.
Guys, I'm still pretty bearish on alts. We're getting all these alt requests because I know we had like 2 up days, but I'm telling you, I think you're going to be real sad if you rush in alts.
Stack your Bitcoin. Damian Hughes comes through with one last one. SmartCredit. SmartCredit token.
Is there a ticker for that?
Checking it out right now. Yeah, it's called SmartCredit. Just SmartCredit, all caps, is its ticker.
Okay, well, I don't see anything here for that.
Longest damn ticker I've ever seen.
Oh, well, this is a really stupid ticker, if I can say so. Do you have a what's the contract address?
Let me take a quick look. It's the one ending in DA13.
I need the first 5.
First 5, 0x72E9.
Okay, here we go. This one. So this is a nice little feature on ChartX, which is where you can, like, if there's multiple of one coin, nothing to say, man. You either already bought in or, like, don't buy here, you're gonna get hurt. Would have been nice to buy in the break of this, otherwise, nothing to do here.
Spicy new coin, eh? How come we didn't get in on this? I should have been an early investor in this smart credit.
I don't know. Why
Smart
aren't you out
way.
there finding us new projects, Jack?
I don't know, dude.
Let's go.
Because
Let's
I'm
go.
very bearish during this alt season. I'm not looking to get
Yeah.
baited into any of this. All right, onwards we go, gentlemen. Here we go. Did you guys do Ethereum yet? Did we do Ethereum yet?
Yeah, in the first 10 minutes of the
Yeah,
show.
I
dude.
had-
Yep, there you go. Well, there's your answer. Generally, we do cover the majors like Bitcoin, Ethereum, very early, Killer Craig. So just to rewind the stream to the beginning, we
Yeah.
get into it.
We're
right
at resistance. Don't buy here. But if we break above here, then buy.
There you have
That's
it.
all the news.
there. Mr. Ether asked for the Uniswap USDT pair, please. Uni USDT.
I covered that one at the beginning of the show too, dude.
All right, that one's been done, guys. Let's not.
Yeah. So we are overextended and up here at around resistance. We could break up into this area right here. I see there's a little there's a nice bulge in this area on our VPVR. But yeah, I would rather try and find a short in this area for a retest down here. Because if you think we're not going to retest down here, it's crazy. So yeah, I would try and find myself a place to get short. Maybe not right here. Maybe up here. We'll see. Right now, there's not a sell signal yet, but I'm telling you, man.
There we go.
Long alts in this spot, folks. I think, yeah.
All right, I got another alt for you. Did we touch on Link already or no?
Yeah, we did.
All right, Link USDT has been covered unless Alex decides to
Well,
do.
I covered Link Bitcoin, but
Oh, well then maybe USDT it is then. But I imagine your feelings are going to be similar to the other alts we've just looked at.
I mean, so this is support, now resistance. I'd be pretty hesitant about buying Link here. I mean, maybe we can go a little further, but yeah, I would. If you held the gun in my head, I'd rather be short in the spot than long in the spot. I think we can still fall a little further on Link. The perpetual contract looks a little stronger, but I think that's more because of its relation to Bitcoin. I think if the Bitcoin pairing remains weak looking, I'd rather just be long Bitcoin.
All right. Well, Damien Hughes says thanks. He bought Ocean recently. Okay, well done. Hopefully Ocean treats you well. And
Was it a couple days ago or was it today? Because I mean, if it's
says
today,
recently.
it's resistance.
Not too sure, but he got into Ocean recently. He seems to be happy. So shout out to Damien Hughes, who says that he's been digging into microcaps and getting his research in, so he'll be ready for the next alt rally. Yeah, for sure. This is a good time to set up. You know, while Bitcoin eventually sorts itself out, we very well might see a big alt cycle come through, and you might want to be on the ground floor for that. And maybe your experience and time spent in this space over the last 6 months or year or 4 years, however long you've been here, might help you identify what those potential winners during the big alt cycle will be. And here's a little hint. It seems like the stuff with a good marketing pitch, good sales pitch, I guess, is popular, and even if it's not particularly amazing project. So I see subtextually says Link USDT short question mark. No, don't short you Link USDT. I think he was saying more that he's more inclined. She's more bearish on Link USDT on that chart than he was bullish, I think is what he was saying, but not quite committed to shorting it. Philip Carr says, hey guys, I arrived late, but I'm here. So shout outs to Philip Carr. Damien Hughes says, I wonder when there's going to be an Oracle perp. Oracle perp. Yeah, maybe once there's more oracles out there in that space. And T-Dub asks for CRO USDT, please.
Okay, let's take a look at this train wreck again. You know, every single green candle, I remember getting asked if they should long. Guys, well, you know what? This may actually be a decent spot to long in. I imagine we'll probably get a bounce off of here. This is pretty strong support.
Jesus.
I would mostly say market's trying to tell you something about it. I guess you could probably take it long here to somewhere. I don't know where, man. Yeah, this is a really effed up chart.
Yeah,
I don't
my CRO bags are hurting. What can I say? I just hope I get that card soon in the mail.
Yeah, I mean, people complain about manipulation in the market, but I don't know how you can look at this chart and not think manipulation.
Yeah, T-Dub says he's just waiting for a huge buy into CRO. You're waiting for other people to do the huge buying, or you're talking about yourself, T-Dub? You're waiting to do your huge purchase. Now may not be a bad time. That's a fact correction. If you've been holding out for upgrading your CRO card, now is the time to load up, boys.
Screw that company. I refuse to do business with a company that changes their rules like every like 3 months or so.
Mr. Ether asks, is CRV dead? Is Curve Finance dead? What happened to Curve? Is something I don't know about?
No. I have no idea why he's asking that question. Curve's actually had a really good day.
Let's see here. T-Dub, he says he was in at 3 cents, sold at 12, and also upgraded my card 3 times. Ah, nice, dude. Yeah, if you've played the MCO card game well, you've probably got you reached a cool premium level of ownership, and hell, you might have made off like a bandit. That was an epic pump we had in 2020 on CRO. Is one of the hottest coins during that big alt season. I think it did really well during alt season.
Yeah,
so.
but
Should have played it shrewdly though.
You know what? Let's see. This is 1 second. Let me find a better.
As Mikhail here says, I think CRO is largely a result of the 6-month hold on the CRO conversion, and now those 6-month holds are expiring. Yeah, the lockup periods are ending, people are getting out, but it could also be the overwhelming manipulation we saw during the run-up and leading up to the conversion process, the token swap process. All right, guys. If we have I have one more request here. It's KAVA BTC. Get a moment, Alex.
Okay.
We'll browse over to KAVA BTC.
Oh wait, I guess I must have it under the Binance margin list. Looks pretty rough. Yeah, I probably just one more leg down, I would imagine. We haven't tested down here at all, really. I see more pain in KAVA's future. We don't even have a weekly buy signal yet. Yeah, I would say stay out.
There you have it. Hope that answers your question. T-Dub on the KAVA front, heading over to a Juan Ortega as well as MMVV in the live chat. Both these guys are asking for XRP. Could we take a look at XRP? The Ripple, the big Ripple play. Are we going to the moon yet?
No, Ripple is busy making new lows. I mean, yeah, there's just no reversal signal really yet, man. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, it looks like a train wreck. Kind of looks like we're still below resistance here. I wouldn't want to take this long. Guys,
I don't know, maybe
alts don't look that good right now. I mean, DeFi looked good, 2 days ago before it like jumped 40% in one day, and then now they're all at resistance again. I think it's just I think it's a fake out to get people to rush into alts again, thinking they're going to miss out, and then they get dumped on all over.
Yes, only the best. We're looking at Ripple right now, and it don't look too pretty unless the incoming Biden-Harris administration is going to be favorable to Ripple Labs and something I don't know about. So if you guys got some inside Democrat news and Ripple's going to be part of the Great Reset, please let me know. Maybe I'll buy in now. Otherwise, it looks like a stinking bag of S-Coin. Let me see here. Alex, do you have something else you want to show us before I throw on the next request? I see only the...
You guys can see, all these charts, I mean, they look like they're certainly at lows, but they all look, I mean, here's Neo. Hello, support. Now we're under resistance. Like these don't look healthy. Like I don't want to be long in this spot right here. We could definitely go lower. We could retest down here on Neo. These are like all the large sat coins. If I look through the mid sats with you.
BTC dominance. Do we want to look at that as we begin to wrap this one up?
I covered that in the first 30 minutes of the show too.
All right,
let's look at it again.
Only the best that was covered earlier on. Some of the bigger, more major views we do very early on in the show, guys. But Alex, take a look. One last look at it.
Yes, I think that the Bitcoin dominance. Well, it's at resistance right now. It currently looks like it's reset a little bit. I think it could give one more go. But as long as it's under 66% right here, it's under really strong resistance. We've got trend resistance, we've got weekly horizontal resistance, seen here in this spot. So right now, Bitcoin dominance looks like it can run. If Bitcoin ends up reversing, then perhaps we'll get a different signal. Until then, the alts look like they're under resistance. Bitcoin looks good to run a little further. We shall see.
We shall see. All right. Yo, Jason, do you got any thoughts or anything you want to share, or maybe screen share a chart with us if you like? You got anything you want to put out there before we head to the exits? Jason might still be with us, maybe not. I hear a little bit of echo coming through, but all right, we'll get him back. Let's see here. Katashi Hataki says Biden campaign hired a cryptocurrency expert to his team. Yeah, I saw that. I saw some new appointment that they announced for his cabinet to do with a more crypto-friendly legislator. Juan Ortega asking for quant. Maybe we can do a quick look at quant while I pull up a piece of news.
Yeah, it looks kind of ugly. It's trading at resistance. Got a cross under on the weekly. See if the trend is still with us. I consider the trend still with us here. We haven't broken below it. I mean, I think it's overall was kind of weak. Probably break down, retest this area, I think. For support here. Yeah, I like that. I would say no. It's my thought. No. Do not want.
Alright, you heard it here. We're going to pass on the quant. But in the meantime, before we pull out, we're going to quickly hop into the browser scene here and talk about a couple of news items.
I do see some support here for quant. I'll say that. There's a potential for some support here on quant. And this spot is well,
potential for support,
fingers crossed. If it were to bounce, it would bounce off this area, which is also the point of control. So That is something to commend it to you.
Is that Jason I just heard? Jason, are you back? No, maybe not. All right, well, Mr. Juan Ortega says thank you. Well, hope that kind of helped with the your question on quant. Let's see here. Midwest in the chat says having issues with my mic. Sorry, no worries. Okay, yep. As Jason says, BTC seems to be bullish here, and I am being patient as my positions for the day have been completed. And he wants to get a better idea where we're heading here. Yeah, I think Midwest took a long, he snagged a nice long. He closed it out, money in the bank, and moving on to the next position. So keep your eyes on Jason's posts in the Discord as he updates his trades. We'll probably find out there what his next trade's going to look like. Damian Hughes says, Quant looks like you could go long at the top of the channel, though. He may be. Let's see, where's Alex's screen still at? He's still on quant? Yeah, he's going back to... No, he's not. Okay,
I'm sorry, what do you mean? You want along at the top of what channel?
Not too sure. I'm not sure if it's worth to backtrack back into the quant chart, guys. Martinez says XMR, BTC, or USDT. That's more of a question, I think, relative to what Philip Carr was saying. T-Dub says thank you. Damian Hughes says... looks like you could use a tight stop. I'm not sure what that's in reference to. Martinez says BTC has monthly bearish divergence.
Okay.
I have flowed through your...
Yeah, I mean, I think XMR, USDT, it's got a broken trend here. I think it's definitely got more room to fall. Hold on.
Time for a big retrace of the Monero.
I probably want to pick it back up in this area.
All right, gentlemen and ladies, let's dive into my browser scene here really quickly, and we'll take a quick look at a couple of the news stories that are on my radar for today. Switching over to my screen now, and I'm gonna open this, lower this, bear with me real quick while I readjust something in this scene. Alright, we're good. So this is something I saw referenced in the live chat. People were talking about this Biden appointment, which is this gentleman here, Gary Gensler, will lead the financial policy transition team. It happens to be a bit of a crypto-savvy guy. The Washington and Wall Street veteran is closely studied the budding cryptocurrency field, and he's set to lead the financial policy transition team for, of course, the president-elect, Mr. Joe Biden. Former chairman of the CFTC, Gensler was tapped to lead the agency review team for the Fed, banking securities regulators, and the Biden campaign has formally announced Tuesday that he was a contender. Alright, so it would be cool to see, a Biden administration maybe moving in a more friendly regulatory path toward crypto. I guess that's better than it is bad, right? I would hate to hear that Biden's coming onto the scene to deliver a knockout blow to crypto or Bitcoin. So this is good. This might be good. I almost feel like maybe Trump was more bearish for Bitcoin. Trump did say a few, I don't know, had a few aggressive stances on Bitcoin. So, I think Trump was very much a New York type banker. Not to say that this guy isn't, but maybe willing to embrace the crypto technology. We do need if we're going to be progressive on one front, for God's sake, we got to be on this technology, right?
I think this is a nothing burger of a news item. I heard all sorts of great things about, the crypto savvy. Is it the new CFTC head or the SEC head, the one who used to work at Coinbase? You know what? These people are just, they're fat cats who also happen to be into crypto. They're not, our homeboys who happen to be getting into the financial industry and breaking in or something like that. I don't think this means anything for crypto. I think this guy is an establishment person who's just going to do establishment things. And I don't have a lot of hopes for this being something that's positive for Bitcoin. I mean, I don't think it's negative for Bitcoin either. I think it's just like beside the point.
For sure, probably not a good idea not to read too far into these things. You know, like you say, it's one bureaucrat or another. Likely things are going to remain on course. But you know, if you're going to take any kind of silver lining to all this, maybe maybe the regulators.
And besides, leading a transition team is not the same as like being Secretary of Defense or something like that. All he's doing is leading a transition team. I think the person who ran Trump's was like Chris Christie. What's Chris Christie do now? Nothing. So, that does not mean much.
Yeah, we're clutching at straws here, I guess, at this point, gentlemen. Moving over to the next one real quick. Let's close this back to ad. This one is JP Morgan. Oh, let me just make sure it's centered. Here we go. You know how this formatting goes. Let's roll it down. JP Morgan says institutional investors appear to prefer Bitcoin over gold. Institutional investors such as family offices might be looking at Bitcoin as an alternative to gold, says the JP Morgan analyst. So I just couldn't help but notice there's been like a meme afoot. I've noticed a lot of stories in the last week or so.
You're still pointing at the Gary Gensler story, right? None of us can read the...
No, it'll catch up. It'll catch up. The live stream is quite a few seconds behind.
Okay.
Trust. It'll flip over very shortly. But yeah, I noticed this recently. Just a big track of stories related to institutional investors. So I don't know. Maybe it's just like a trend that I've observed. Maybe just a meme. Maybe just selective kind of bias. But it seems like institutions are kind of getting on board in this like 10K plus breakout zone. You know, we've heard so many kind of add a little to their reserves. So it seems like JP Morgan's kind of concurring here. Institutional investors appear to be getting into Bitcoin and preferring it over gold in this maybe coming cycle, which is very cool, right? So goodbye gold, hello Bitcoin.
Okay, I will now present... it feels like, 1 month of data is hardly a trend make. I will say, there's been so much money flowing into the Grayscale Trust because there's just no other way to get money into Bitcoin really for institutional investors, unless, they're going to be custodial or stuff like that, which is, so hard for a lot of these places to do. I have so little trust for JP Morgan. Like, anytime they spin a narrative, I think the exact opposite must be true.
All right. That's one way to look at it, indeed. But Grayscale, of course, Bitcoin Trust currently manages $7.6 billion worth of assets, and you can see they've really taken off in 2020. Seems like institutions are piling in, but like Alex points out, this is one of the few gateways for institutions to get in on to Bitcoin with. So naturally, Grayscale is going to see appreciation like this as these institutions do.
I think it's pretty natural to see exchange outflows on gold when gold just made a new all-time high. Bitcoin hasn't made a new all-time high yet. Bitcoin's on its way. I have a question. If people were so much more interested in Bitcoin than gold, wouldn't Bitcoin have also made an all-time high while gold was doing so? I'm just saying, like, the narrative does not make sense. I mean, it's cool that more money went into Bitcoin and then money came out of gold for this 1 month. I'm stoked about that. It means that, people are treating it like, at least for the 1 month, they treat it a little better than gold. But I just, the narrative doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, as it's pointed out here, the potential long-term upside for Bitcoin is considerable if it competes more intensely with gold as an quote-unquote alternative currency. According to the analyst, Bitcoin's market cap would have to rise 10 times from its current levels. So yeah, this is like a meme we've pointed on the show frequently. This idea that Bitcoin's market cap still has the ability to 10x or more to bring it more in line with what we see traded in terms of gold ETFs, right? So 10x would put it in the gold ETF bar and coin kind of market cap territory. Yeah, I think I've heard this 10x thing bandied about frequently, and clearly that's what everybody has in mind maybe for this next macro target of this cycle. T-Dub says silver has yet to retest its high. Damian Hughes, whatever happened to Backed. Backed is still there, just not sure if it's getting as much institutional love as everyone expected. Plus,
I saw some news about Back the other day. I thought it made a new volume high. Let me look to that. Let's look back to news real quick. I think who's talking right now in the background?
that must be Jason. Let me mute his butt. There we go. Okay, Mr. Jason. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to put you in the AFK room. There we go.
Yeah, 4 weeks ago, Backed Bitcoin had record high physical delivery of Bitcoin.
Interesting.
So that's the news I've heard most recently about Backed. It's still working. I think it's not as popular with people because Backed is physical deliverables, and I think most people just want to trade it and not have to deal with delivery of Bitcoin at the end of the month.
Yep, at least the big Wall Street institutional players naturally are going to be more inclined to dip their toes in the CME type of market. All right. Let me just review the last few comments in the live chat. I hope everybody had an enjoyable stream. Whoops. Let me dive back in here and review the last couple comments. Like I said, let's see here. What do we got? Philip Carr says, makes sense. As an institutional, silver holdings and portfolio snooze. It's already minimal, so client question is portfolio diversity out to other classes and not from gold to BTC, from other main assets to gold or BTC. Yeah, I guess he's pointing out how T-Dub mentioned that silver has yet to retest its highs, and investors are interested in diversifying to other classes. Martha Martinez, I believe it's optimal, or is it optional? Optional to have Bitcoin delivered unbacked. Yep, I do think physical delivery via backed is optional. I also not sure, when they say physical delivery, I don't know if that actually ends up in your own private wallet, or is that still like, a quote unquote.
No, it's physical delivery, man. Yeah, they send it to you.
Yeah, I've heard
like,
a lot
what's your address?
all right. I've heard some conspiracies about, it's supposedly almost next to impossible to actually get your physically gold or Bitcoin delivered, but I guess I gotta look into that.
I haven't heard that at all.
You haven't heard that at all? Ooh, yeah, you gotta check out that Crypto Chico video on Backed. Looks fishy. As Only the Best says, it was a good show. Everybody have a good week and trade safe. Yes, only the best.
Thanks, buddy.
That's for sure. Everyone do trade safe. Everyone do have the best week they can. I don't know where you guys are, but where I am, we have a nice heat wave coming through for November. It's beautiful outside. It's like so good. So I really enjoying the weather. I'm enjoying my week. David Rice says, thanks CC team. Always a great edutainment. Always. Anil Kumar says hello in the chat. And let me just scroll up a little more. Why Litecoin no move? I don't know. Everyone's sleeping on Litecoin. Litecoin is not an exciting project.
I was on Litecoin long earlier today, and then it dumped. Litecoin, Bitcoin dumped back down to the lows. I was like, I mean, it's quite a bottom pick trying to grab it in this spot.
Here we go. Yeah. Just reviewing the last few comments. There's a lot of good comments here. I see people talking about Ethereum 2.0, price targets for Ethereum. I see discussion about Monero in here. Guys, unfortunately, we do have to wrap up the show, so I'd love to stay here and chit-chat about some of these Monero and Ethereum topics, but we do got to get going, and I have a Hall of Mirrors effect going crazy on the screen, so we got to dive back in here and fix that. Love you guys, says Philip Carr. Great anchor, my pleasure. Mr. Unicorn says, take it easy, boys. We will. Okay, so thank you to everybody who did join us for today. We got a nice 50 likes there. If you haven't hit the like button, you're still watching. Get in there, hit that like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and we'll probably be back tomorrow. So, what was that, Alex?
You said we need the attention. Please like us.
Yeah, hit the like. That's the only way we tell the YouTube algorithm that we like what's going on here, right? And hopefully on days like this, we don't get shadow banned. We perform better in the views. But that's it. We're going to the exit. Thank you to everybody who joined us. We'll see you tomorrow for Breaking Bitcoin's Market Update Thursday. Cheers, guys.
All right. Hashtag bless.
Later.